Are you afraid to make millions? That's right. Are you afraid? Well, tonight we're learning to overcome fears and start making millions. Step one was conquering the fear. Okay, what's next? Our good friend Cameron Johnson started 12 businesses by the time he was 21, making millions. His first one was at 10. First of all, you have some very specific, practical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 once you overcome the fears. But did you ever have any fear?
Well, you know, I think I was naive growing up.
Yeah,
I didn't know any better,
right.
so I think that helped more than anything. I hadn't been taught to think inside of the box, so everything I thought of was wacky and crazy. And if I had told someone my idea, I know they would have said, "You're crazy," but it's a good thing I just did it.
You hadn't lived enough years to have the voices in your head that Amanda talks about that we all have in our...
That's right.
Okay, so your first thing, this is a great piece of advice for someone. Let's say you overcome the fear. You say the first thing to do is to find your Trump.
Well, I found Mr. Trump when I was 8 years old. I had just seen him in the movie Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and that inspired me to want to learn more about this figure, Mr. Trump. And I found out he was a hugely successful businessman, and that led me to read his first book, and it led me to read dozens of other books on best-selling, not best-selling authors so much as just hugely successful entrepreneurs.
So guys, is this kind of a corollary in a strange way, whether we call it a mentor or somebody to look up to or a roadmap person that... Give me an example, guys, of how you go, okay, well, this person wanted to do this, so they found that person.
I found that I had great inspiration by looking at other female entrepreneurs who had done things that people told them they couldn't do, like Helen Gurley Brown from Cosmopolitan magazine. She did something so revolutionary, so extraordinary, in a day when women didn't talk about sex.
Yeah, I hated those days.
I don't remember them.
Right, me neither.
So I found, you know, women like that incredibly inspirational. Coco Chanel, who wore pants before women ever wore pants.
So it's really kind of putting blood, if you will, because sometimes this goes back to the visioning thing that we were talking about, that point to somebody, not that you do it exactly their way, but, you know, that could have been me or that, so there's almost an image out there. That's very, very interesting.
And Donny, it doesn't have to be some big name person.
No, of course not.
Matt Boswell's a poop scooper in Dallas, Texas, making millions of dollars.
We've talked to him, sure.
You know, that you can look at the people around you, too, that are very successful and ask them for advice, but use them as mentors as well.
Yeah. The second thing you talk about, and we're going to go back also, is build it and they will come. So, like, just give me an example of just build it and they will come.
Well, I think you have to do your due diligence. You have to understand that there is a market out there, and oftentimes when you come up with an idea and you start looking around and you find that there is something similar out there, that validates your idea right away. So maybe you can find out, hey, is that site or company or idea already being successful? If it is, then hey, let's just go do it, and let's figure out how we can market it. And one of my principles is start small, because I think you should start and you should force yourself to bootstrap. Because when you bootstrap, that is when your best ideas, and that's when you have to think creatively, and you come up with the best ad campaigns, or you come up with the best marketing to grow your business that way.
Yeah, I always say when you have less money to do something, you've got to be creative. But in terms of the line, in terms of building, they will come. Give me an example of one of your businesses where you either drew it on a piece of paper, you wrote it out, because it doesn't have, along the lines we were talking about, it doesn't have to be a business plan, it doesn't have to be a formal prototype. That literally sometimes the best thing to do is my idea is this. And here's my idea right here. And just give me an example in the crudest way, the way you built something.
Well, when I was 19, I was in my dorm room at college, and I had all these gift cards that I hadn't used. So I said, why isn't there a website where I can just like trade these in for a lesser value and just take the cash for them? And I looked, and there were thousands of people selling them on eBay, and I decided to create a website just for gift cards. And I found out that gift card industry was a $40 billion a year industry. I created the website, we launched it, we were everywhere, and we did 100,000 in sales in our first month.
So give me an example, guys, how, Amanda, whether you did it in your business or guys more strategically, we talked in terms of Kimberly that people don't know how to write a business plan or they're afraid of it. What's a crude dream plan? What can somebody do right now? We got them over the fear. They have an idea. They have their next bra idea or the next magazine idea. What can we have somebody start to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that's their crude version of a dream plan instead of a sophisticated business plan?
It's sort of like what you do when you apply for a patent. You write down why the American market needs this product. What is it going to do for the American public? Basically, the idea of a patent is how will it improve life in America for your customer? And utility, Thomas Jefferson said, is proof of sale. So if it's useful, it will sell. So you write down, why does the American public need this product? What is it? Who are my customers? Who am I going to go after for distribution?
So do it in a very rational, logical way. Don't worry about any structure. Just almost do a kind of a download of a logic track, if you will.
Exactly, and you can do that in your journal, which is what I did.
I'm not keeping no journal.
Well, there's also sites. I mean, you can go to overture.com. You can see where people are going and what people are looking for, so you can get an idea of what is out there and what people are wanting. And
I want to touch on another fear also, in that a lot of people are afraid to go like this, and you touched on patents. At some point, you got to start sharing.
Yeah.
I don't mean sharing your business. Eventually, I think you have to do that also. But it's like, I got to learn. How do I patent this? How do I do this? So, in your case, Cameron, how do you give people the courage to be afraid to, like, what if I tell somebody about it? They're going to steal it.
Right. Well, you know, I like to think that most people in business are honest and good, especially my friends that I'm going to be sharing the idea with. So I've never had that problem, and I've always been one to share my idea within my close circle of people. I also know that they're not either skilled or interested in quitting their job to go and take my idea and go and run with it. So I'm not that worried. So I will share my idea, but of course also you have to protect yourself. I use non-disclosure agreements pretty frequently. You know, I'll do research on the USPTO.gov website to look up trademarks and patents. And
Amanda, you didn't know anything about it. How did you get over the fear and just say, okay, what did you do initially?
I got over the fear by doing exactly what Cameron just said. I got a non-disclosure agreement, and if somebody wouldn't sign that non-disclosure agreement for me, then I asked myself the question, well, why don't they want to sign it if they're not going to talk about it? Right. And if they wouldn't sign it, I didn't talk to them. Right. Because I'm in a manufacturing business, and in the manufacturing business, there's pirates everywhere. And you cannot share your idea until you've gotten an NDA signed.
And sometimes that alone is enough to see.
It is. That's the litmus test. Well, guys, what are you afraid of right now? That's it. I don't want to hear any of this whining. Go for it. Cameron Johnson, author of You Call the Shots and CEO of EasyFollowups.com. Kimberly Spinks Burleson, co-author of Prepare to Be a Millionaire. And Suzanne Mulvihill, founder of the Emotional Endurance Institute. Amanda Kennedy is the president of Sassybacks. This is an inspirational group. You got nothing to be afraid of. Go for it. More big ideas straight ahead.